Yes, Chairman. Councillors Eric Bowden, John Brady, Alex Hinton, Richard Morris and Councillor Mrs Fellows.
Okay, thank you. Any declarations of interest for the planning tonight? No? Okay. Items 3, I'd like to confirm as a correct record the minutes of the meeting from the committee held on 2nd of February 2026. Have we a proposer? Councillor Clements, a seconder for these minutes. Councillor Davidson, all in favour? Thank you. We'll now go on to the long list of planning applications. And the first one is 2 Petersfield Drive for a conservatory to the rear.
So that one was approved, Chairman, on the 26th of Feb. It slipped in between scheduled meetings.
Okay. Item 2 is advertisement on 1 to 3 Hanbury Street. I think that's a new build by where David Neville's used to be.
This one's quite straightforward on the portal, Chairman. 3 neighbours' statements, and they're all statements of support. Highways, no objection, meets criteria, and that's it, no other comments.
Any other issues, Councillor Davidson?
Yeah, the 3 neighbours, I think, all have units in the place that they're supported. I just thought it was maybe a little bit too big, you know. It might be just as effective if the letters were a little bit smaller.
That was it.
Any other comments, Councillor Brooks?
Thank you, Chairman. I think really we're in an era where we're trying to support businesses, and many businesses are failing and so on. So I would be very much in favour of anything of this sort to be hopefully to grow new businesses, and again it will help the town. I don't think it is a bit in your face, but I didn't personally find it offensive, and I would be happy to support it.
Okay, Councillor Humphreys?
I would agree with everything Councillor Brooks has just said. I think we should be promoting and helping businesses, particularly new businesses, such as the one that have put this application in, so I would be happy to support it as well.
Okay, Councillor Duffy?
I was going to say to the same effect, yes. The area is quite large. I can see where they're going from a graphic design point to fill the space and sort of keep it in line with the gables of the roof. So I'll support that as well.
Okay, any further comments?
So you've got a proposer and a seconder
So-
on the committee.
Okay, proposer, Councillor Brooks, seconder, Councillor Humphreys, all in favour? Okay, thank you. The third one is a rear extension to 66 Tagwell Road.
Very little on this one, Chairman. No neighbours' responses, and just the conditional aspect, which is the water management and drainage. That's all.
Okay, any further comments? Councillor Davidson?
Yeah, I did look at this quite recently, and I think it's been approved.
Possibly has since Thursday last week. I previewed it on Thursday.
Okay,
It says approved on the 30th,
on the what,
but
sorry?
they don't upload them on the 30th, but they wouldn't be uploaded straight away anyway.
Possibly not. No.
Okay, so,
You can check that, but I think it's true.
yeah, shall we have a secondary proposer anyway? Yeah,
Yeah, and then obviously if it's approved, we don't need to submit it.
okay. Could we have a proposer for that one, please? Councillor Humphreys and a seconder, Councillor Duffy. All in favour? Okay. We have, the next one is Land at Pridsa Road. I do believe that they've withdrawn application and resubmitted on this one. So this is for new agricultural building.
Yes, Chairman, this is a replacement, because the original was withdrawn, so it's a resubmission.
Yeah.
So it's prior notification only, and there was a decision posted by the planning department with no objections on the 12th of March.
Okay. Are there any further comments on that one? No, Councillor Duffy?
Happy to propose approval.
Okay. Seconder for Councillor Clements. All in favour for that one? Thank you. The next one is 11 Tagwell Road. This is an erection of a replacement fence, retrospective installation of electric gates to replace the existing iron gate. Councillor Brooks.
Chairman, I'm not sure whether I should kind of declare non-peculiar interest in so much that a resident objected to this fence and asked me to pass it on, which I did to the town clerk. So I'm not directly involved. Although I
Okay,
do
it's
live
duly
on number
noted then,
43.
yeah. Okay,
But just a bit.
thank you.
So on this one from the portal, there's no neighbours responses posted, and then the key one is highways, meets criteria. And what they have done, because of the retrospective, they looked at the visibility display, which was the main concern, and they're happy with that.
Okay, any further comments on this one? Councillor Davison?
There was some concern about this gauge that's a part of this as well. There's an electric gauge as part of this application.
Yeah,
Electric gates, yeah.
Where there was going to be queuing outside, which may cause traffic jams on this corner of Tugwell Road. In my opinion, the electric gate shouldn't be a problem. There's an electric gate in Middleton Road on a corner.
Mhm.
And I've never seen any problems there at all. And if there's only one or two cars on the site, there's not going to be many people waiting to press a button in a car to get in, you know. So I think the electric gate part of it, which is a concern.
They've passed that though, in terms of their responses. It
Yeah.
meets criteria on all aspects, so they haven't got any
okay.
reservations on it.
Any further comments,
So I
councillor?
think I need to pass on the comment that I had on that back area there, and it was felt to be perhaps not appropriate for the area and the type of houses and fencing around that area.
It's more than 3 feet, isn't it, Rob?
That's why I've got to do planning, because it's under, as you say, under 3 feet or a metre, you don't need to pass the plan.
Perhaps the colour's a bit, it could be softened a bit.
Well, I must admit, I do agree that that really was a bit in the face, and I think it's inappropriate for the area. I can understand why they want some privacy there, because their garden's sort of on a corner, and it's difficult. But I think
They've
it's
got a
more
hot tub in
sympathetic.
the front garden.
Huh?
They've got a hot tub in the front garden,
Yeah.
which is why they want it.
Well, they want-
Which is why they want the tall fence.
But I think, I think as you say, it can certainly be softened or it could be, in some way.
So there's very little we can do on that one, because the highways have met,
But that's the
Criteria.
way. But as regards the fence itself,
yeah,
you know. I
and it's
think that-
retrospective as well, yeah.
Yeah, but retrospective, as you know, it has to be treated as though there's a new
Yeah.
application today. So on that one, really, I think I would probably need to propose either refusal or a request for the black fence to be softened in some way.
I think the difficulty as well is that the resident who had the concern hasn't put a concern in themselves on the portal.
No, so perhaps, fair enough, I thought I'd just mention it.
Yeah, okay.
We can put those as a recommendation.
Well, yes, that could be done.
Yeah.
Do
Councillor
the
Duffy?
surrounding houses have similarly large fences out front? Does it? That might be something, it's not keeping the general streets in the area.
That's my feeling.
Um,
But we can understand why they want a high fence,
Mm.
but privacy, I can understand that. But it just needs to be, softened or a little bit.
So possibly.
If it was a different colour, would be, a wood would be,
Yeah.
that's better.
So are we going to agree to make a recommendation on that one then?
Improve the aesthetics.
Yeah,
So
What comment?
yeah, put a comment in,
Improve it, but.
yeah,
Yeah, so recommending approval, but with a comment towards the dark colour.
okay, so we've got,
Yeah.
are you proposing that one?
I'm happy to propose. that.
Okay, and have we got a seconder for that? Yeah, all in favour?
I'll abstain.
Okay, the next one on the list is 41 Suffolk Way. This is for a first floor extension to the front of the property.
So on this one, Chairman, no neighbours' responses. Drainage is as would be expected on the SWDP 29 policy for the Soka Way, and WRS and highways both meet criteria.
Okay, any further comments on Suffolk Way? Okay, do we have a proposer for that one? Councillor Clements and a seconder. Councillor Duffy, all in favour? Thank you. The next one on the list is 14 Squirrel Bank. This is for a single storey rear and front extensions to the existing dwelling.
Very similar to previous ones, Chairman, no neighbours replies. And just a drainage policy has to be DPR 29.
Okay, any further comments on Squirrel Bank? No, do we have a proposer? Councillor Davidson, seconder, Councillor Humphreys, all in favour? Okay. The next one is 20 Shirley Road, which is a single storey rear extension.
Very much the same, no neighbours replies. WRS on landfill gas proximity, so that's to be expected and standard. And then highways, it does meet criteria.
Okay, any further comments on Shirley Road? No? Councillor Duffy?
Happy to propose approval.
Okay, seconder for that one, Councillor Davidson, all in favour? Okay, the next one is Site 26 Egg Hill Burial Industrial Estate. This is proposed refurbishment of existing industrial warehouse unit, which looks like it will enhance the building and create job opportunities. Further comments on this one?
Thank you, Chairman. Yes, I entirely agree with you on that one. In fact, it's very nice to see activity going on on the industrial estate. It's certainly not going to cause a problem as far as I can see for anyone. And hopefully, again, you will see some more business thriving in the town. So I'm very happy to propose this one.
Okay, can I just get Mark's comments on that
Oh,
one?
sorry.
Yeah, so, excuse me, this one, no neighbours, as you'd expect on the industrial estate really. Statement of support from Wychavon Economic Development, which of course was what Bob's just explained. And then the only statutory referral is the fire authority on the building regs, which is exactly what we had here for the refurbishment. So that's to be expected on reconfiguration. So all positive.
Okay, any further comments, Councillor Davidson?
Yeah, there's a lot of information on there, but apparently it's currently vacant, by doing this, but they should create some jobs.
Great.
Any further comments? No, do we have a proposer for this? Councillor Brooks, seconder, Councillor Davidson, all in favour? Thank you. The next one is 28 Clydesdale Road. This is a 2-storey side extension to include Velux window and conversion of half garage.
So following the theme really tonight, no neighbours responses, highways it meets criteria, WRS landfill protection is recommended, and drainage as usual has to be DPR.
Okay, any further comments on that one?
I think the water management were wanting a bit more clarification, but as long as that's okay, I'm happy to promote proposal.
Okay, and a seconder for that one, Councillor Duffy, all in favour? Thank you. The next one is Waitrose. This is a variation of condition 29 of planning permission, with associated parking, landscaping and market kiosk building.
So what this one relates to is the alteration of the delivery window time during the night. So there is quite that is the conditional aspect that's been amended. There's a very thorough breakdown of the measures that they've taken into account. So it's things like rubber matting, so there's no clanging of the tail lifts on the trucks at night. So they seem to have covered nearly every aspect
they've been
thoroughly there. There's no nuisance objections from WRSA which look into those sort of things or complaints that have been raised. The only other response on the portal is a high street trader who is asking what the specifics of the application are. Well, it is that, it's a variation of the delivery timescales through the night.
Councillor Davidson.
I think what he's saying there is, this other person, is that he doesn't understand the letter that he had. Maybe somebody from either Wychavon or Waitrose could explain what it's all about, but it might not be his first language.
Okay.
That's the relevant statement from Wychavon, which is on the portal.
Yeah.
Sorry, from Waitrose.
Yeah, there's a pretty decent impact statement for noise here regarding drivers, deliveries, delivery doors, gate shutters, lorries reversing, lorry engines, refrigeration units, padlock chains, loading bay. They've basically gone through everything. And even if there are complaints of noise, Waitrose employees will follow a set of guidelines. So they've been very thorough on the noise aspect of this. And I think the location of Waitrose is pretty much, I wouldn't say away from domestic premises, because you've got the premises in the high street and you've also got Vines Lane across the water. But I think their impact statement covers as much as they can. Are there any further comments on this one? Councillor Duffy?
I was gonna go for a motion for approval. I think, as you say, it's an economic area, and they seem to have done their due diligence to mitigate any impact.
Okay, any further comments, Councillor Brooks?
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, I would say that they seem to be acting Waitrose seem to be acting very responsibly. And again, the same argument as earlier, that really any business that needs all the help they can get with trading. And since this seems a sensible and responsible application, I'd be happy again to support.
Okay, so Councillor Duffy, are you proposing this?
Yeah.
Councillor Brooks seconded. All in favour, please? Thank you. And the last one on the applications list is 19 Clayle Road. This is for conversion of garage and flat roof extension to rear of the building.
No neighbours replies, Chairman, on that, and just the WIS advisory for landfill
Okay.
proximity.
Any further comments on that one? No. Do we have a proposer? Councillor Duffy and a seconder. Councillor Davison, all in favour? Thank you. Right, on the planning, the applications, which Avon District Council notified on 20th of February of amendments for planning application for various conditions. For version is land opposite Yew Tree Farm, Newland Road.
The notification was with it, the letter.
Yeah.
It was just material amendments.
Some material amendments on that one. Okay. So are there any further comments on that one? No. Okay. Item 5, approval notices. Which Avon District Council, the local planning authority, has issued 10 approval notices since the last council meeting on 2nd of February. 9 of these did accord with the recommendations of the Town Council Planning Committee, and 1 was without a joint Spa Town Council response, having been decided in a period devoid of any scheduled committee meeting. Okay. And refusal notices, there have been no refusal notices since the last meeting. Item 6 is a street naming request. This is to look at, this was to look at the Chapel Close to Chapel Place position notified as per our meeting in the last planning meeting. Yeah, January, sorry. Which Avon, details are attached, including suggestions put forward to the developer. Councillor Davison suggested that the name of the road would be called Chapel Close, in consideration that historically there had been a small chapel located on adjacent land, and this was agreed following due consideration. I think after we had banter with Salwalk.
Yeah, Salwalk wanted to put a different name
Yeah.
in, but there was already a road, Chairman, to that name within 2 or 3 miles within Droitwich. The issue has arisen really because the access road should choose, so the parish where the access point is should choose the name. So it should have been Salwalk in the first place. So it was a mistake that Whichever approached us. Councillor Davidson's preferred name was resolved by the committee in January. They then realised the mistake, went to Salwalk. They chose something completely different, which has an identical name in Droitwich anyway. So we pointed that out. But the developer who also has a say in it, preferred Chapel Place over Chapel Close. So we've nearly gone full circle on it.
Yeah.
It's almost what was resolved by this committee.
Okay, so we look forward to the naming of that then.
Yeah.
Right, the next one is another street naming request, and this is for this meeting. It's basically the new land that will be a social housing of Tagwell Road. Now, we have had some nominations for street names. So if from Dave,
And
Richard and myself. So Mark will go through those now, and then we can make a decision on the preferable set of names, but we do have to submit about 8 names anyway, and the second set of names. So,
Can't explain why I chose.
yeah, we can go into that, yeah.
That's fine.
Okay,
So, compared with the last one, the one with Salwalk, that was only 6 or 7 houses. This is more significant. This is up to 100.
yeah,
So what they've asked for, and this is the development up by Gaudet Lewis, isn't it?
Yeah.
At the end of Tagwell,
mhm,
is so up to 100 new dwellings. They've asked for at least 4 street names to be put forward. But they've also asked for a reserve set. So really, we need 8 names or 2 lots of 4 is what we're going to suggest. And the reason for that is that, as I said on the last one, the developer does have some say in it. So even though we try to keep to the Suffolk's guidance and everything else, and guidance on names and what categories, the developer does have some final say. So what we've come up with, one set from Councillor Davidson was with connections to the canal heritage. So I don't know if Councillor Davidson wants to expand on that, but we've got Brindley, Priddy, Harriet and Volunteer.
Brindley was the chief engineer and designer, but he was like that, well, of the main canal. He wasn't there very much, so he appointed a local guy called John Priddy to be the resident engineer. So the first 2 names I thought, and the first part of I haven't mentioned whether to be close or place or anything, but I think, well, why can't the developer choose those?
Well, we've got some
We've got
suggestions for those, yeah.
But this is my main one. I've got another one coming up, but so therefore, Brindley, Priddy. Now, the 2 7 barges that were based in Droitwich or came to Droitwich a lot. One was called Harriet and one was called Volunteer, and I think we got Volunteer or something.
Yeah.
Down the park. The last one, Volunteer, was it was last used in the last salt barge to be used, and it was delivering hay down to Cardiff docks for the army in the First World War. So basically, I just thought, well, something to do with the canal for a change instead of all these birds and flowers and trees and all that sort of stuff. So that's not my main one.
So those suggestions do fit because
Yeah.
it doesn't clash with any other developments or previous ones
Yeah.
that done. And we thought possibly Brindley Place, Priddy Way, Harriet Terrace and Volunteer Rise on Suffolk's as may fit.
Okay, yeah, so that's the first set.
And then the second one we've got from, Councillor Morris and then yourself, Chairman, on 3 was On Birds, Hawk View, Sandpiper Close, Red Wing Row and Greenfinch Terrace.
Okay. Councillor Duffy?
I do like the canal-based ones. I do wonder if it's on the wrong side of the town for the canal-based ones.
That occurred to me as well, George. It may be more suitable eventually down Living Lane or the Vines or somewhere like that.
That's the only thing, especially sort of, why there's any sort of further development around Brooks would be more on the west side rather than sort of leaning further southeast. Make sure people can get to the town centre easily. Yeah, there are a lot of nature-based ones around that end, but I do think that's quite linked to sort of how much it was farmland and woodland.
Come on, next one.
Yeah, if you want to go through your next ones, we only want 4.
All right.
Yeah.
Let's
Yeah.
do- Okay. This is because of our new tourist centre and National Tourist Day. Also, the 250th anniversary of the Declaration of Independence. Also, the fact that we want to encourage more people to come to Dulwich, especially our American cousins from the Massachusetts area, where Winslow landed. So I've come up with, and we can get this in their local press. I've come up with names of places within 16 miles of Plymouth, Massachusetts. I've got the reserved ones as well. So you've got Plymouth itself, Duxbury, Provincetown, Kingston, Marshfield, Carver, Lakeville, and Norwell. And then according to the link I've given to Mark, they're all within 16 miles of Plymouth Rock, or whatever it was.
Okay, so we've got 3 choices now.
So there's 8 there.
Yeah.
From Councillor Davidson second.
Yeah.
Only because they're all linked together.
So there's 16 names we've got there.
So we need to submit about 8 names. So can we go for the first preference? Who is in favour of the canal? 4, 5.
Make a comment, please, Chairman.
Yeah.
I was just going to say, with respect, whilst the wildlife names are nice, they could be anywhere in the country. Whereas the canal ones and the American ones are very particular to Droitwich, and I would support anything that's Droitwich rather than just something that's generally a nice name.
Okay. Yeah. So it looks like the first preference is the canal names. So the birds, none. So secondly, Winslow.
I do quite
Yeah.
like the American ones, but sort of, I think especially as it's an area with multiple streets, it does create quite a nice and unique character for the area. It sort of gives it that bit more character compared to a lot of the roads around it.
Okay, so are we happy for the first
Submit
preference?
12.
Yeah, submit
So
12, yeah,
And the 8
and the 8.
And some of the reasons why.
Yeah, yeah,
in the 2 categories.
yeah. So we're happy for the first preference to be the canals, yeah. And the second choice is their choice between the Winslow names.
Yeah, I won't go into the fish.
Okay. No, Dave.
That's fine, happy with it. Yeah, second.
Yeah. Do you have a proposer, please, for what we've just gone through? Councillor Brooks and a seconder, Councillor Duffy, all in favour? Thank you.
So that's the 4 canals names, 8 Winslow connected names, and an explanation of both categories.
Yeah.
Great.
Thank you. Item 8 is the Chawton Lane Vaz sign has been vandalised, which we already knew about. This has been retrieved and dispatched to manufacturer for assessment of repairs. The liability for the costs rests with us as the adopting authority following original deployment through the WCC Highways. A revised location has been assessed and licensed by Highways in anticipation of the repair unit being returned for service. Location and licence summary attached for information, so you've all seen that. And just to mention, which is not on here, the Vaz unit in Hanbury Road has been installed and is up and running. Councillor Shelby.
We don't, I know, I'm just going to say that there's also one on Ponsonby Way, just before you get to St Joseph's, and that hasn't been working for such a long time, I don't know if anyone's mentioned that.
I report that one, that's the digital one, isn't it? Yeah, that's not ours. I think it's Highways themselves, that one, but we're raising it, yeah.
Thank you. Item 9, we have a withdrawal of planning application. We've just gone through the planning applications. That was the unit in Printer Road, but we've already gone through that. Worcestershire Waste Local Plan consultation, the town council is statutory consultee and has the opportunity to submit a corporate opinion response to WCC within the timescale from 25th of February to 15th of April. So, Mark, if you want to give a little bit of detail on that one, please.
Yeah, it's a statutory consultation, as it says really in the agenda. It's quite a long consultation, it is quite involved, but it's been flagged up with CALC as well, that if the town council wishes to put an opinion in on it, we can do, just to not to overlook that opportunity.
Okay. Are there any comments on that?
There's a lot of information on it,
Yeah.
I think I sent all that out a couple of times to everybody.
Okay. I think it's best if you choose to have a look at it, then we can send our comments to Mark
Yeah.
and then have a collective say.
It looks at the next 15 years and how
Yeah.
land is going to be set aside for waste management across the county. So it is important in
Mhm.
localities.
Okay, so you all agree with that if we have a collective decision?
Any
Yeah,
input
yeah.
back through this.
Yeah, have you got a date when you want that back by, Mark?
I'd say by Easter.
By
please,
Easter, please, yeah.
Because it's 15th the closest.
Okay,
It's been out there for a while. Important.
okay. And then items 11 through to 22 are all road traffic regulation acts. Can I do these in block?
Please.
Yeah, please. Are there any comments before we go ahead and do them in block on any of them? No? Okay, so we have a proposer, Councillor Clements, seconded. Councillor Duffy, all in favour? Thank you. And that's a closing meeting. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll update you after. We're still recording at the moment.
Yeah. Yes, you do. Yeah. Explain to me. Well, what did you got next year?
Swank and Grace.
Well, is it this week?
This week, yes.
Thank you for attending, and we'll start this meeting of the Resources and Sustainability Committee. And item 1, apologies for absence, please.
Yes, Chairman, Councillor Eric Bowden, John Brady, Alex Sinton, Richard Morris and Councillor Mrs Fallows.
Okay, but we're still for it. Thank you. Do we have any declaration of interest tonight, please? No? Okay. Item 3 then, to confirm as a correct record the minutes of the meeting on the 23rd of February. Could I have a proposal, please? And a second, Councillor Hopkins, thank you. All in favour, please? Thank you. Item 4, request for community governance review. Do you want to take us?
I can do, Chairman. Really, this was covered at the last meeting. It was Councillor Francis had asked it to be reaffirmed, really, what the situation was just after that meeting. So this is the Dodder Hill Impney ward, it's currently going through with approximately 60 houses. I've been approached by electoral services, so just for information, if the town council are asked for a corporate opinion, we would put one in and consider that, but we haven't been asked as yet because it's the residents that have been consulted with first.
I think this is one in reality there's very little to be done, but we'll just know the situation then. Yeah, this one is quite an interesting one. Item 5, Town of Culture, and I must admit when I first saw this one come up, I was a little bit dubious about it, but quite frankly, having seen the tremendous amount of work put into this by our town clerk, I certainly think it's well worth a shot. If you'd like to take us through it.
Oh, thank you, Chairman. Where we are with this at the moment is the CNA committee resolved back in February for the expression of interest to be put in by the town council. So that's the statutory and deliverable body. So that's for the submission at that stage. So what the Town of Culture 2028 is inviting is applications from partnerships. So the partnership is the Place Board working with the town council and Wychavon. So we've come up with quite an ambitious bid through the Place Board, and really its basis is the town centre prospectus, so it's continuing that post unitary and then bringing in the arts and culture. So it is fairly complex. I think there's 20 sections of up to 400 words. So I've got the final draft to go through tomorrow with Matt Nicholson Place Board and Wychavon officers, and then we're hoping to get that submitted next Monday. The deadline is a week tomorrow. So it's ambitious, but it's strong. We've taken the decision not to go on the press too much on it. BBC Hereford must have ran a feature on it this morning. Well, the reason for that is the time really to quote on it would be at the expression of interest stage when it's gone in. And also we're mindful that it's competitive bidding nationally. So we're aware that Evesham, Ledbury, Malvern, a lot of peer towns are also putting in bids. What works well with this, so if we are successful at the expression of interest, if you're shortlisted after that, you're awarded £60,000. So that is to develop the bid. So that can be with the community groups running an event probably to gather interest, and also to a little bit like the neighbourhood plan, that will be some professional fees towards consultation. So it's really pitched that this could definitely expand immediately after the expression of interest. So what we're hoping is that we're putting as strong a case as we can and get shortlisted, and then that will be an achievement if we get to that stage and thereafter. So I hope to share the submitted expression of interest at the full council in April.
Something to look forward to, because I had sight of an initial early draft, and it's one of those things, until you see it written down, you forget all the things that we've got in Droitwich, and what a great place it is. Councillor Humphreys?
Thank you for allowing me to speak, because I know this isn't my committee. I was slightly concerned when I read about this and have heard some of the Town of Culture about the sort of the various arts and community groups being involved, but I'm reassured by the town clerk's statement that actually that will happen at the next stage, so thank you.
Great. So it is for noting at the moment where we've got to, or where town clerk has got us to. Any further comments? Okay. I'll move on then to item 6. This is where we get the sustainability bit of our committee. And these are the options to convert the second floor of St Richard's House, which is something I've been very keen to see happen for quite a long time. We've got this space that's not earning its keep at the moment, and he's not, I think, performing a particularly useful function. So I think it'd be really great to take the opportunity to do something with this. And again, I think that's one of the updates where we've got to.
Thank you, Chairman. So it was really, as it says on the agenda, to verbally update this because it's only on the 3rd of March that we were approached by Sean Riley, the Economic Development Manager at Wychhaven, to ask really if we can progress this sooner rather than later, because it's actually a commitment from Wychhaven to deliver a business hub in Droitwich, and they are keen to fulfil that before the entry starts. To the extent that they wish to match fund it, which goes back to the original pledge. In order to do that, I need a full costed estimate for design and also for construction. Don't think it will be as costly as the downstairs, as it's all internal configuration. So since the 3rd of March, we've approached our architect for downstairs and a contractor and hope to get those figures sooner rather than later, just as estimates, because that will enable Wychhaven to then commit to a figure that they wish to support us with. So it's really positive, and the other good thing is the timing is excellent, because we're just, as you'll see from the payments, we're just drawing a line under all the finance for the Heritage Centre. This is the last opportunity to make payments this financial year, before the 31st of March, so I'll go through those in a second. So we couldn't, one, financially we need to see where we're at, and secondly, we could not be undertaking another construction project on this building whilst this one was still open. So we'll report further, but really I just need those two lots of figures over the next few weeks.
Great. I mean, as I said, it's something which is quite dear to my heart, and certainly to see the building improved. But what I have noticed, and obviously we'll be taking professional advice and so on, but it's one of those, the existing sort of configuration does lend itself to the idea of some serviced offices and a kitchenette and toilets and all that. I mean, the space is there, it actually fits, even just me looking at it, not as an architect, so I'm certainly with professional advice, we'll have something really, a Boston scheme, as they say in that country. So that's okay, we'll come back on that one.
I think the only thing I'd add on that as well, Chairman, is on future-proofing, it's important that we scope for a passenger lift, so with an attendant in this day and age. So that would service both floors, so that would be part of the design statement.
So we get a general improvement.
Yeah.
We get an opportunity to possibly increase our income from, using our existing resources. So really it looks very much a win-win for us on that one. And of course, by providing facilities for start-up businesses, we could end up with another big employer perhaps eventually, who knows, but we're casting our bread on the waters, as they say. So that's great. And look forward to an update when we get to it. And so really it's accounts for payment. So
Katie's just got a supplementary list. As I just referenced, there are 2 or 3 larger payments which sign off to the Heritage Centre project, which I'll just reference in a second.
Thank you.
So on the supplementary list that's just been sent round, the first amount on the supplementary is 183,304. So the 2 payments that we were keen to process before year end were the 93,307. That's the original capital spend for the actual building works. So that's not the grant funded part. And then additional works, which was the flooring, the asbestos and various other things like the alarm, they were reported at resources back in October. So really it's 93 plus the 76 is a capital element. But to note as well that they are gross values of VAT, so we get 20% of that reclaimed as well. So really, we are exactly where we thought we would be last October on the outer.
Thank you.
The other smaller ones are, as described, additional works elsewhere.
Additional.
Yeah. And then the third check on the supplementary list, Far Post, that is the final design payment. So that effectively signs off the grant funded element of the project and also the capital spend.
Thank you for that summary. And certainly all of that's put us in a better place, a better position than we were. It's great to see. Right, so unless anyone has any comments, I'll be looking for a proposer, please. Councillor Duffy and a seconder, please. Thank you, Councillor Bowyer. All in favour, please. Thank you, duly carried. And that's it then, Will. I want to finish the meeting. Thank you very much for attending.